The massive alien ships appeared without warning at the edge of our solar system. Their sleek, crystalline hulls reflected the distant sunlight, creating an ethereal display that Earth's astronomers initially mistook for a new cosmic phenomenon. It wasn't until the fleet's distress signal reached Earth's communication arrays that humanity realized they weren't alone in the universe. The first message was simple: help. At NASA's main control center, Director Robert Miller stared at the massive screen showing the fleet's position. Hundreds of ships, each larger than Earth's biggest cities, hung motionless in space. Their once powerful engines were now dark, and only emergency systems showed signs of life. "Play the full message again," Miller ordered, his voice steady despite the historic moment unfolding before them. The alien transmission filled the room. "This is Admiral Gray of the Combined Fleet. Our quantum drive systems have experienced a catastrophic failure. We carry millions of our people, refugees from a dying star system. Our advanced systems are failing, and we cannot proceed or turn back. We detect primitive but functional technology in your system. Despite your species' developmental stage, we humbly request assistance." The message ended, leaving the control room in silence. Miller looked at his team, seeing the mix of excitement and concern on their faces. The aliens needed help from primitive humans. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Within hours, the world's governments convened an emergency session. The UN Assembly Hall buzzed with urgent discussions as leaders debated their response. The alien situation was dire. Their life support systems were slowly failing, and they couldn't move their ships without functioning drives. "We can't just leave them out there," Miller argued before the assembly. "This isn't just about first contact anymore. Millions of lives are at stake." The Chinese representative stood up. "But do we have the capability to help a civilization clearly more advanced than our own?" Miller smiled. "Sometimes the most advanced solution isn't the best one. They've lost their quantum drives. But we know everything there is to know about conventional propulsion. Maybe that's exactly what they need." The assembly voted unanimously to help. Earth would send its best engineers to assess the situation, while the world's space agencies prepared for the largest rescue mission in human history. 3 days later, the first human shuttle approached the alien fleet. Inside, Chief Engineer Mike Thompson tried to hide his awe at the massive ships. His team had been chosen for their practical experience, people who knew how to fix things with their hands, not just with computers. The shuttle docked with the alien flagship, a process that took hours due to the incompatible technologies. When the airlock finally opened, Mike found himself face to face with Admiral Gray. The alien commander was tall and humanoid, with silvery skin that seemed to shimmer in the light. Their eyes, deep purple and multifaceted, studied the humans with a mixture of hope and doubt. "Welcome aboard," Admiral Gray said through a translator. "Though I must admit, we never imagined having to rely on less advanced beings for rescue." Mike kept his expression neutral. "Sometimes the old ways work best. Admiral, we may surprise you." The alien leader led them to the engine room, a vast chamber filled with technology that seemed to defy physics itself. But Mike's trained eye quickly spotted the problem. Beyond the quantum technology, these were still engines, and engines followed universal principles. "Your quantum field generators are completely dead," Mike explained, pointing to the dark crystals that once powered the massive ships. "But the underlying propulsion system, the part that actually moves the ships, that's still intact. We might be able to adapt our fusion drives to power them." Admiral Gray's translator took a moment to process this. "You believe you can merge your primitive technology with our advanced systems?" Mike nodded, already sketching out ideas on his tablet. "Sometimes the simplest solution is the best one. We may not understand quantum physics like you do, but we know engines. Give us a chance to prove it." The Admiral looked at the dead engine room, then back at the humans. Millions of lives depended on their decision. Finally, they nodded. "Very well. Show us what humanity can do." As Mike's team began their work, No one knew they were starting a journey that would change both species forever. Humanity's first step into the galactic community wouldn't be through advanced technology or military might, but through something far more fundamental: the ability to fix what was broken. The greatest rescue mission in human history had begun. The initial assessment of the alien fleet revealed problems far worse than anyone had expected. Mike and his engineering team discovered that the quantum drive failures had triggered a cascade of system malfunctions throughout the ships. They had less than 3 weeks before the life support systems would begin to fail. In the fleet's main engineering bay, Mike stood before a holographic display showing the damaged systems. Around him, alien engineers watched with barely concealed skepticism as he used a simple wrench to tap different parts of their engine. "Your entire system relies too heavily on quantum computing," Mike explained, pointing to the complex network of crystalline processors. "When the main drive failed, your AI couldn't adapt because it only knows one way of doing things." Admiral Gray moved closer to the display. "Our systems are the most advanced in known space. Are you suggesting they are flawed?" Mike chose his words carefully. "Not flawed, Admiral. Just over-specialized. Sometimes the best computers are the ones between our ears." The human team began their work in earnest. They discovered that while the aliens' technology was incredibly advanced, their engineers had lost the ability to think mechanically. Generations of relying on AI had left them unable to solve problems without their computers. Back on Earth, the world's factories worked around the clock. The UN had declared a global emergency, and nations pooled their resources to build the equipment needed for the rescue. Russian shipyards produced heavy-duty fusion cores, Chinese factories created miles of specialized cables, and American plants manufactured adaptation units designed by Mike's team. During a crucial test, engineer Tom Parker made a breakthrough. He was examining one of the alien ship's backup systems when he noticed something familiar. "Look at this," he called to Mike. "Their backup thrusters use a form of plasma containment similar to our fusion reactors. We don't need to replace their entire system. We just need to bridge the gap between our technology and theirs." The alien engineers watched in confusion as the humans began working with what they considered obsolete tools. They couldn't understand why these primitives insisted on physical repairs when their own methods had always relied on quantum reconstruction. "Your species is strange," one of the alien engineers, whose name translated to Blue, commented to Tom. "You touch things to fix them. We have always let our computers do the work." Tom smiled as he adjusted a power coupling. "That's exactly why we're here. Sometimes you need to feel a problem to fix it." The first major test came a week into the operation. Mike's team had retrofitted a small section of the flagship's propulsion system with their hybrid solution. If it worked, they could save the fleet. If it failed, they would lose precious time they couldn't afford. The test chamber hummed as power flowed through the new connections. Alien and human engineers held their breath as the system came online. The quantum crystals, now powered by human fusion technology, began to glow. "Power flow stable at 60%, Tom announced, watching the readings. 70%, 80%. Admiral Gray moved closer to the display. "The quantum field is forming. It's actually working." The hybrid system reached full power, creating a stable quantum field using human fusion technology as its base. The impossible had been achieved. Humanity's primitive technology had successfully integrated with one of the most advanced propulsion systems in the galaxy. Mike turned to Admiral Gray. "We can save your ships, but we'll need to work fast. And we'll need your engineers to learn our methods. They need to understand how things work without relying on AI." The Admiral looked at the working prototype, then at their own engineers who were already gathering around Tom to learn more about physical repairs. "Perhaps," they said slowly, "we have something to learn from Earth after all." The news of the successful test spread quickly through the fleet. Hope began to replace fear as the refugees realized they might survive after all. In the engine room, human and alien engineers worked side by side, each learning from the other. As the second week began, ships from Earth started arriving with the needed equipment. The greatest engineering challenge humanity had ever faced was underway, and time was running out. But for the first time since the fleet had appeared in our solar system, success seemed possible. The marriage of human ingenuity and alien technology was about to change the course of both civilizations forever. The true scope of human ingenuity began to shine during the third week of the rescue operation. While the alien engineers marveled at complex quantum equations, Mike's team demonstrated that sometimes the simplest solutions were the most effective. In the engine bay of one of the larger ships, Tom was teaching a group of alien engineers how to manually bypass a failing power system. His hands moved quickly, connecting wires and adjusting settings without any computer assistance. "But the quantum harmonics will be completely imbalanced," protested one of the alien engineers. "The AI simulations show this should be impossible." Tom wiped sweat from his forehead and grinned. "Watch this." He connected the final wire, and the system hummed to life. The power readings, which the AI had predicted would be chaotic, stabilized perfectly. "How?" The alien engineer's multifaceted eyes widened in surprise. "Sometimes you have to trust your gut more than your computer," Tom explained. "Machines can't always predict how other machines will interact. That's where human intuition comes in." Across the fleet, similar scenes played out as human engineers taught their alien counterparts the lost art of mechanical repair. The aliens had become so dependent on their AI systems that basic mechanical skills had been forgotten over generations. Mike stood in the fleet's command center, watching as more Earth ships arrived with supplies. Each one carried crucial components for their hybrid drive system, along with teams of engineers ready to help with the massive undertaking. "Your species continues to surprise us," Admiral Gray said, approaching Mike. "We thought your lack of quantum technology made you primitive. We were wrong." Mike nodded toward a group of human and alien engineers working together on a power distribution panel. "Technology isn't just about how advanced your computers are. It's about understanding how things work at their most basic level." The breakthrough moment came when Lisa, a mechanical engineer from Brazil, discovered a way to use Earth's simple electromagnetic principles to stabilize the alien quantum fields. The solution was so elegantly simple that the alien eye had overlooked it entirely. "Look here," Lisa explained to a gathered group of alien engineers. "Your quantum drives create incredible power, but they're too isolated from basic physical laws. By grounding them in traditional electromagnetics, we can make them more stable than ever." The aliens watched in amazement as she demonstrated her theory on a small-scale model. The quantum field, usually volatile and difficult to control, became perfectly stable when channeled through her electromagnetic framework. "This is impossible," one of the alien technicians said. "Our most advanced AI systems never conceived of this approach." Lisa smiled as she adjusted the field strength. "That's because sometimes you need to think outside the quantum box." The success of Lisa's discovery led to a fleet-wide implementation of the new hybrid system. Human engineers, once dismissed as primitives, were now leading teams of alien technicians in the largest technological retrofit in galactic history. In the medical bay of the flagship, another kind of exchange was taking place. The alien doctors were learning about human emergency medicine, techniques that didn't rely on advanced technology, but could save lives when all else failed. "Your species has developed remarkable ways to survive," the alien chief medical officer observed, watching a human doctor demonstrate basic first aid. "Perhaps we have become too dependent on our advanced systems." The real test came when one of the smaller ships experienced a complete power failure. Before the humans arrived, such an event would have been catastrophic. But now, the alien crew knew how to implement backup systems manually, thanks to their human teachers. As the third week drew to a close, the fleet was transforming. The once pristine engine rooms now had a mix of alien quantum technology and human mechanical ingenuity. It wasn't pretty, but it worked better than either system had alone. "We're creating something entirely new here," Mike told Admiral Gray as they observed the progress. "Not just fixing your ships, but building a bridge between our technologies. The Admiral looked at the activity around them, humans and aliens working together, learning from each other, creating solutions that neither species could have developed alone. Perhaps, they said thoughtfully, this is the real breakthrough, not the technology we're creating, but the understanding we're sharing. The rescue mission had become something more, a revolution in how both species approach technology and problem-solving. The fourth week brought the greatest challenge yet to the rescue operation. Multiple ships began experiencing cascade failures as their overtaxed systems reached their breaking points. The human-alien teams faced a desperate race against time. In the command center, alarms blared as another ship reported critical system failures. Jack, the lead mechanic from Australia, quickly assembled his emergency response team. "We've got 6 ships in Sector 4 going dark," he announced, grabbing his toolkit. "Life support systems failing. We got less than 4 hours." Admiral Gray watched with growing concern as red warning lights spread across the fleet status display. "Even with your hybrid systems, we cannot reach all the failing ships in time." Jack hefted his heavy bag of tools and smiled grimly. "Watch us." The emergency response teams deployed in small, fast shuttles. Earth had sent hundreds of these vessels, each equipped with basic repair equipment and staffed by engineers who specialized in crisis management. Inside one of the failing ships, the temperature was dropping rapidly as life support systems shut down. The alien crew, used to relying on automated repairs, watched in amazement as Jack's team worked with practiced efficiency. "Manual bypass on the primary coolant system," Jack called out, his breath visible in the cold air. "Get those backup generators online. We're doing this the old-fashioned way." The alien engineers had learned enough from their human teachers to assist now. They worked alongside the emergency teams, applying their new knowledge of mechanical repairs. "The quantum field is collapsing," one alien technician reported, panic in their voice. "Forget the quantum field," Jack replied, pulling out a massive wrench. "Focus on keeping these people alive. Quantum mechanics won't matter if everyone freezes to death." The human approach to crisis management proved invaluable. While the aliens' AI systems were overwhelmed by the cascade failures, human engineers relied on experience and instinct to prioritize critical systems. Back on the flagship, Mike coordinated the fleet-wide response. The situation map showed dozens of ships in various stages of crisis, with human repair teams racing between them. "Your species thrives in chaos," Admiral Gray observed, watching the humans work. "Where our systems see only failure, you see opportunities." A cheer went up as the first emergency team reported success. Jack's voice crackled over the comm system. "Life support restored in Sector 4, Ship 3, moving to the next crisis." Throughout the fleet, similar scenes played out. Human engineers taught alien crews emergency protocols that didn't rely on computers. They installed manual backup systems and showed how to operate them without AI assistance. The most dramatic moment came when the residential ship Star Seeker lost all power. 10,000 refugees were at risk, with oxygen levels dropping rapidly. 3 human teams converged on the massive vessel. "This is what we trained for," Jack told his team as they cut through a sealed doorway. "Every system has a mechanical backup if you know where to look." Working by flashlight in the darkened ship, humans and aliens together managed to restore basic life support using nothing but hand tools and determination. The sight of aliens learning to use wrenches and manual pumps would have been comical if the situation weren't so dire. As the day progressed, more ships were stabilized. The hybrid systems proved their worth, providing reliable power where the pure quantum technology had failed. Earth's primitive technology was saving lives across the fleet. "We have underestimated your species in every way," Admiral Gray admitted to Mike as they reviewed the day's successes. "Your ability to function without advanced computers, to think and adapt in a crisis. These are strengths we had forgotten." Mike watched as another emergency team departed for their next mission. "Technology is just a tool, Admiral. It's the people using it that matter." By the end of the day, the immediate crisis had passed. All critical systems were stabilized, and crews throughout the fleet were being trained in emergency procedures. The aliens were learning that sometimes the best solution was the simplest one. Jack returned to the flagship, tired but satisfied. "We've bought ourselves some time," he reported, "but we need to finish upgrading the entire fleet. This crisis proved that the old systems aren't reliable anymore." The day's events had proven something important. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't in its technology, but in its ability to adapt and overcome. The aliens were beginning to understand why these primitives had been their best hope all along. As the rescue operation entered its 5th week, something unexpected began to happen. Beyond the technical challenges, a profound cultural exchange was taking place between humans and aliens. In one of the fleet's main engineering hubs, Lisa worked alongside an alien engineer named Blue, teaching him how to diagnose engine problems by sound. "Close your eyes," Lisa instructed, tapping different parts of the engine housing. "Listen to the difference. Each sound tells you something about what's happening inside." Blue's multifaceted eyes blinked in confusion. "But our sensors can analyze." "Forget the sensors," Lisa interrupted gently. "Trust your instincts. Some things can't be measured by computers." Throughout the fleet, similar scenes played out. Humans taught aliens the value of intuition and hands-on experience, while the aliens shared their deep understanding of quantum mechanics and advanced physics. Mike observed this exchange with satisfaction as he walked through the flagship's corridors. What had started as an emergency rescue was becoming something more significant, a bridge between two very different approaches to technology and problem-solving. "Your species has an unusual way of looking at problems," Admiral Gray commented, joining Mike on his rounds. "You see patterns we miss, find solutions our computers never consider." In the maintenance bay, Tom was leading a workshop on improvised repairs. He had assembled a group of alien engineers who were learning to repair complex systems with basic tools. "Sometimes you have to work with what you have," Tom explained, demonstrating how to bypass a failed quantum regulator using simple mechanical parts. "The fanciest tool in the universe won't help if it breaks when you need it most." The aliens watched in fascination as he completed the repair using nothing but standard tools. One of them stepped forward, eager to try the technique themselves. "It feels primitive," the alien engineer admitted, holding the wrench awkwardly. Tom smiled. "Sometimes primitive works better than advanced. That's the lesson here." In another section of the fleet, human doctors were exchanging medical knowledge with alien healers. The aliens' advanced medical technology was impressive, but they had lost many basic techniques that didn't require complex equipment. "Your method of physical diagnosis is fascinating," an alien medical officer observed, watching a human doctor perform a basic physical examination. "We had forgotten that bodies can tell us what's wrong without scanners." The cultural exchange went both ways. Humans learned about quantum physics and advanced computational methods from the aliens. The combination of human intuition and alien technology was proving more powerful than either approach alone. Lisa had set up a training program where human and alien engineers worked in pairs. Each team had to solve problems using both high-tech and low-tech solutions, learning to combine both approaches effectively. "Look at this," she told Mike, showing him the results. "The hybrid teams are outperforming pure human or pure alien teams by a significant margin." The success of these partnerships led to a formal knowledge exchange program. Alien engineers began learning basic mechanical skills, while human engineers studied quantum mechanics and advanced computational methods. "We had become too dependent on our technology," Blue admitted to Lisa during a break. "We forgot that sometimes the simplest solution is the best one." In the fleet's recreational areas, humans and aliens began sharing meals and stories. Despite their physical differences, they found common ground in their shared love of problem-solving and innovation. Admiral Gray called a meeting of the fleet's leadership to discuss these developments. "This exchange of knowledge may be as valuable as the rescue itself," they announced. "We are learning from each other in ways we never expected." Mike stood at the back of the room, watching as human and alien officers discussed plans for continued cooperation. What had started as an emergency rescue was evolving into something that could benefit both species for generations to come. "We're not just fixing ships anymore," he told Lissa later. "We're building bridges between our civilizations." As the 5th week drew to a close, the fleet was transformed. Hybrid repair stations had been set up throughout the ships, staffed by mixed teams of humans and aliens. The once stark divide between advanced and primitive technology had blurred into something new and more effective. The rescue mission had become a revolution in how both species approached technology and problem-solving. It was a lesson neither would soon forget. True advancement comes not from technology alone, but from the wisdom to know when and how to use it. The 6th week brought the final and most challenging phase of the rescue operation. With most of the fleet now stable, attention turned to the massive colony ship Star Haven, the largest vessel in the fleet, carrying over 1 million refugees in suspended animation. The Star Haven's systems were failing faster than predicted. Its massive power core, designed to sustain millions of sleeping refugees, was on the verge of collapse. "If that ship goes down, we lose everything we've fought for," Mike told the assembled human-alien emergency team. "We have less than 24 hours. The colony ship dwarfed everything around it. Its quantum core, visible through massive viewing windows, pulsed with unstable energy. Teams of human and alien engineers worked frantically to implement the hybrid drive system before it was too late. Jack led the primary response team into the ship's main engineering section. "The quantum field is collapsing faster than we've seen before," he reported, checking readings on his handheld device. "We need to work fast." Blue, now confident with human repair techniques, quickly began setting up emergency bypass systems. "The power fluctuations are affecting the stasis pods," they reported. "If we lose power completely—" They didn't need to finish the sentence. Everyone knew what was at stake. In the command center, Admiral Gray watched the operation unfold. "I never imagined our greatest ship would depend on human technology for survival," they admitted to Mike. The rescue operation became a race against time. Human shuttles ferried essential components to the Star Haven, while mixed teams of engineers worked to install them. The ship's massive size meant they had to coordinate dozens of teams working simultaneously. Power levels dropping in Section 7. Lisa's voice crackled over the comm system. "We need those fusion reactors online now." Tom's team rushed to connect the human-made fusion cores to the alien quantum systems. The work was dangerous. One wrong connection could trigger a catastrophic reaction. "Steady hands," Tom reminded his team as they worked. "Just like we practiced. The physics doesn't change just because the ship is bigger." The first major test came when they activated the initial hybrid power system. The massive quantum core flickered, its energy patterns shifting as human technology merged with alien systems. "It's working," Blue announced, monitoring the readings. "The quantum field is stabilizing." But their celebration was premature. Alarms suddenly blared throughout the ship. The power merger had triggered a cascade reaction in the stasis pod systems. "We're losing the pods in Section 3, Jack shouted. "The life support systems are failing." Mike made a quick decision. "Divert all power to the stasis pods. We'll worry about the engines once we've secured the refugees." Human and alien engineers raced through the ship's corridors, manually rerouting power using the emergency protocols they'd developed together. Their combined knowledge, human mechanical skills, and alien quantum understanding was put to the ultimate test. "Pod stabilizing," Lisa reported after tense minutes. "Life signs are holding steady." With the immediate crisis averted, the teams returned to the main task of implementing the hybrid dry system. They worked through the night, their earlier training making humans and aliens function as one seamless unit. As dawn broke on Earth, the final connections were made. The Star Haven's massive quantum core, now supported by human fusion technology, hummed with stable energy. "Power levels nominal," Blue announced proudly. "All systems functioning at optimal capacity." A cheer went up throughout the ship. The impossible had been achieved. The largest alien vessel ever built was now running on a human-alien hybrid system. Admiral Gray gathered both human and alien crews in the ship's main hall. Today marks more than just a technical achievement, they announced. It represents the true potential of our species working together. Mike looked around at the tired but proud faces of his team, both human and alien. They had come so far from those first skeptical meetings weeks ago. The Star Haven is secure, he reported, and with it, the future of this fleet. As the teams began their final checks, everyone knew they had witnessed something historic. The rescue of the Star Haven proved that the combination of human ingenuity and alien technology could overcome any challenge. The greatest test of the rescue mission had been passed. Now only the final preparations remained before the fleet could continue its journey, forever changed by their encounter with humanity. The 7th week marked the end of the greatest rescue mission in human history. The once stranded alien fleet now hummed with new life, powered by the revolutionary hybrid technology, born from human and alien cooperation. From the flagship's observation deck, Mike and Admiral Gray watched as the last Earth supply ships departed. The fleet's crystalline hulls now bore subtle marks of human engineering, a testament to the changes that had taken place. When we first arrived here, Admiral Gray said, we thought we were seeking help from primitives. Instead, we found teachers. The fleet had been transformed. Every ship now ran on the hybrid drive system that combined human fusion technology with alien quantum mechanics. But the physical changes were only part of the story. In the main engineering bay, Tom was conducting the final training session for alien engineers. They no longer needed computer interfaces to understand their ships. They had learned to feel the pulse of their engines, to diagnose problems with their senses as well as their sensors. Remember, Tom told his alien students, technology is a tool, not a crutch. Trust your instincts as much as your instruments. The aliens had embraced these lessons eagerly. Throughout the fleet, manual repair stations had been established alongside their automated systems. Every ship now carried a basic toolkit, something that would have been unthinkable just weeks ago. Lisa approached Mike with the final system reports. Every ship is running at peak efficiency, she announced. The hybrid systems are actually performing better than the original quantum drives. Blue, who had become one of the fleet's leading experts in the new technology, added, we have already begun documenting these improvements to share with our homeworld. This will change how our entire civilization approaches technology. The influence went both ways. Human engineers had learned invaluable lessons about quantum mechanics and advanced computing. Earth's technology would leap forward by decades thanks to this exchange. Admiral Gray called a final assembly in the fleet's Grand Hall. Thousands of aliens and hundreds of humans gathered to mark the end of the rescue mission. 7 weeks ago, we arrived here as refugees, our advanced technology failing us. The Admiral began. We thought we were seeking simple repairs. Instead, we found a revolution in how we think about technology and problem solving. The Admiral gestured to the human engineers in the crowd. These primitives taught us that true advancement lies not in abandoning the basic in favor of the complex, but in understanding both. They showed us that the most sophisticated computer cannot replace experience, intuition, and the wisdom to know when to use each tool at our disposal. Mike stood with his team, feeling a mix of pride and sadness. Tomorrow, the fleet would depart, continuing their journey to their new home. But they would leave change, carrying a piece of humanity with them. In recognition of Earth's service, Admiral Gray announced, we hereby establish the first Human-Alien Engineering Academy. This fleet will carry human teachers to our new world, where they will help us train a new generation of engineers who understand both the quantum and the mechanical. The announcement was met with thunderous approval from both species. Several human engineers, including Lisa and Tom, had already volunteered to join the fleet on its journey. As the ceremony concluded, Admiral Gray presented Mike with a small crystal, a piece of quantum technology modified to interface with human systems. A symbol, the Admiral explained, of what we can achieve when we combine our strengths. The next morning, the fleet prepared for departure. The hybrid drives powered up smoothly, creating a spectacular display of light as quantum fields merged with fusion energy. From Earth's surface, millions watched as the massive fleet began to move. The ships accelerated with perfect precision, their hybrid drives performing flawlessly. Mike stood in mission control, watching the fleet's departure. Admiral Gray's final message played across the communication screen. To the people of Earth, you have taught us that true advancement comes not from abandoning the past, but from building upon it. Your wisdom will guide our civilization for generations to come. The galaxy will know that when all seemed lost, humanity showed us the way forward. The fleet disappeared into the depths of space, leaving behind a changed Earth. Humanity had taken its first steps into the galactic community not through war or competition, but by doing what they did best, fixing what was broken and teaching others to do the same. The greatest rescue mission in human history had become something more, the beginning of a new era for both species.